In this lesson, we'll be going over some basics on how to import and organize. I will also show you how to connect to your Flickr account and upload your images to Flickr via Lightroom. You will use this to complete your 100-step exercise. If you're having any problems installing Lightroom on your computer, I've also given links to tutorials that cover how to install. Now, I already have Lightroom open, but if this is the first time you're using Lightroom, you will see a panel that opens up for you to create a new catalog. So let's talk about catalogs. I suggest creating a new catalog for every assignment I give you and when you're out shooting on your own. This will be a way for you to organize your images. If you choose to always use the same catalog, then you'll have some serious organizing to do to divide up shoots. So let's go to File, New Catalog. Create a name. In this case, I will name it 100 Steps. I'm also going to save it to my desktop. Choose a location for your catalogs that makes sense for you. Most likely you will want to store your catalog files in a similar location to your images. The catalog is a file that keeps track of your images. So it links your images and keeps track of your edits, but it doesn't actually store your images. So remember, when you go to import, that you need to keep this in mind, and if you move your Lightroom catalog, then you will need to move your images as well to keep them linked. To make this simple, it would be best to upload your images in the same folder as the one you created your catalog. Now that I have a new catalog, I'm going to upload images. On the lower left-hand panel, there are Import/Export buttons. Of course, we'll need to import first, so to do this, let's click the button. It gives us a source option, and you will choose your camera. It will give you a to option, and you will choose the location you prefer. Again, I suggest putting the images along with your catalog you have created, which in my case is not in my pictures folder, but on desktop, 100 steps. There are options on how you import your images: copy as DNG, copy, move, and add. First, copy as DNG is copy as digital negative. This DNG format is RAW format that Adobe has created. It differs slightly from the RAW formats that Nikon and Canon and other cameras have created, but we'll get into this later. At this point, let's not choose this option. Copy is a great option because we need to copy from our card to our location on the computer. Move will directly move the files from the card, but will remove the files from the card, so this may be okay. But add, you do not want to use. You want to avoid it. If you choose add, it will need the card connected every time you work on your images. It doesn't copy the files, but just links the images to the catalog. This may be a good situation where you have already uploaded your images, but this won't be good if you didn't. Some file handling information underneath the to destination. Preview is when you import, you can choose a preview option. Minimal keeps the loading time shorter. Where higher, the options, the longer the preview will take, but the more detailed it will be. So I'm going to keep it on minimal. If you click on Build Smart Previews, what actually happens is that it will store a small copy version of your images within your catalog. This way the catalog doesn't have to retrieve the information from the original file every time you're trying to view the image in Lightroom. You can also adjust the files' names if you want, so you can click Rename Files if you're interested in customizing names. Also, there's some presets and metadata that you can add in at this point when you're importing. There's some already made presets from Lightroom that you can automatically add to your images under Develop Settings, such as converting to black and white. You can take a look at these, but also later on we'll learn how to create our own user presets. Metadata is the information stored within your images. The aperture, shutter speed, and ISO are metadata information, and the date you shot the information is metadata. But you can also add metadata such as who created the images. If you want to make a preset for metadata, you can click on the metadata and create new. Fill in the information that you want it to be attached to your images and save it as a preset that can be added to your images as they are imported. This can be done after you're imported as well. Keywords also can be added, just how things are done in social media. Keywords that describe the images can be added at this point or later. Now your image previews of what is on your card should all be loaded at this point. I can see thumbnails of all the images, but I can also enlarge them here to see what they really look like. So down here I have thumbnails, and then I also have loop mode. I can uncheck all and check all. I can select certain ones by holding down my Shift key and highlighting the images I want from start to finish, or my Command on Mac, Control PC to select specific ones that are not in order. I'm going to go ahead and check all. This information here gives me the name of the image and the format. This CR2 is Canon's RAW format. NEF will be Nikon's format, and each brand has its own RAW format. Again, a reason why Adobe makes its own to make one universal RAW format. So now my images are uploaded. We have thumbnails here that we can preview, but we also again can preview in detail mode so we can see what our images look like. We also have here X and Y, which is our select, but the image that is next to it so you can compare. But also if I click with my arrow on my keyboard, it also will move down to select a different candidate. So if I go back to my thumbnail, it shows the two images that it's comparing. You can also select by holding down Command and select two that you want to compare and go back into this compare mode. I'm going to go back to detail mode. So if I have one image selected, I also have the navigator here that allows you to zoom in and out of your image to see the details and also navigate where you are zoomed in. So there's fit mode, which fits the whole image in, fill, which zooms in, 100 is 100%, and you will see a white box that will indicate where you're at. You can move this box back and forth to navigate through the image. On the right-hand side, we see our histogram. We can see the luminosity of the exposure and where the exposure information lies, either in the highlights, midtones, or shadows. And also we have the metadata, like our ISO, our focal length of our lens, aperture, and shutter speed. This becomes very handy when you try to understand how different settings control different visual effects.